Hi guys, this is Bill Davenport again. I'm just doing a quick guest review of the deck, and the reason I'm doing this particular deck is I think it's really one of my favourite decks. I mean, I've seen an awful lot of decks over the years by different companies, Tier 11, Illusionist, and various other independents, and I think just about all the decks I've seen, must be probably one of my favourites, and I'll just try and explain a little bit why. What we're talking about here, they're the Fulton's clip joints playing cards made by the d&amp playing card company. These have a very, very traditional styling to them, but again, at the same time they're also very modern. And there are a few design things which I really like. For example, the front and the back of the box are actually the same. Often you get, well, as you know, most decks have maybe the back of the cards on the back of the box, which can be useful for doing certain magic with, but I really like the simplicity of this. It's very, very subtle. You probably can't see, but I love it's a grey coloured box. It's not black and it's not white. It's a very, very subtle grey colour. I like the silvering of the Fulton's logo, and I also like, again, you won't be able to see this, but there's actually embossing, where it says playing cards, there's actually embossing, so it's actually raised, and also the design around the edges are also raised. And I love the little smoky way they've done the graphics there. So I think purely from a graphical design point of view, I think it's absolutely brilliant. From what I understand, Fulton is the actual designer who designed these cards, and he also designs a number of the other d&amp decks. And I'm a huge, huge fan of his. I love his style. I love the simplicity, the elegance. Really nice decks. On the side of the front of the box, it says distributed by the D&D Player Card Company. On the end, it says Cambric 37, made in the USA. Now it's interesting, it doesn't actually say who made these cards, but I'm 99% certain it must be the US Player Card Company. They simply, by the way the box looks, the way the cards feel, I'm absolutely, almost 100% certain it's by the US Playing Card Company. Okay, so let's have a look inside the box. I love the detailing there on the end of the box. It says Fulton's again in silver writing. Another really nice detail. Actually, of this deck, there's no seal. With most of the decks nowadays, they're sealed. This one isn't sealed, which means, which is really good, you can have a design on the inner flap, which actually, but when you close the inner flap, it actually matches the design on the outer box. So it's really well thought out. These really small details, which I think go to making this one of my favourite decks. So I just open the deck up. Nothing on the inside, which I don't think is a big problem. It's very simple. The flaps have design, looks like, it's almost Masonic really. It looks like some pair of dividers and a square there. Go into the deck, open the deck up, and let's see the deck itself. That's the Joker. It's not obvious, but it's a really nice design. It's almost like a cat. You can see the eye there. It's quite sort of feline. It's got quite a feline look. Very elegant, not over the top, but just very subtle, very subtle. So we have two Jokers there. This is the Ace of Spades. Again, very, very understated, but again, very elegant. Underneath it says the D&D Player Card Company. Brilliant stuff. And now the interesting thing, I won't go through all the cards, but the interesting thing, each of the spot cards, they have a sort of flourishy spot. So the spade will have a flourishy spot like that, and so on. So all the cards are like that. They all have a specially designed spot that goes for the spades. It's a slightly different to Thecardists. The core cards, they don't have the same spot as that. They're slightly simpler, slightly more classical, but at the same time, they've also been redesigned to have a silver. The Jack's hair is silvered, so that again, that's a really nice point. It's very, again, I keep saying it's very subtle, but again, at the same time, very, very elegant. And going through the hearts and so on. So I won't go through all the cards, but you get the idea. They all have the specially designed pip on all of them. So that's the cards there. You can see them there. Now, in addition to the two standard jokers, there are these what we call advertising cards. The first one, very simple. It's got a bit of information there. It says designed by Brad Fulton, produced by Dan and Dave Buck, and illustrated by hand by Dan Phillips, which is very interesting. And also the last advertising card, there's a bit more information about there. So again, it's a really nice design, quite evocative of the 1920s. It's the sort of thing maybe they used the 1920s as styling cues. Okay, so that's the design of the deck itself. Let's see how. Oh, I didn't do the backs. Must forget the backs. That's really important. Backs again, beautiful designing, black with white motifs, a nice border thickness, beautifully done. Not over the top. Again, you can look into the design as you want. I think there's this look again. It looks like a sort of cap there. It's very subtle. It's not too obvious, but absolutely beautifully designed deck. So I think that's, I've gone through some of the reasons why I like the deck. It's purely from a visual and aesthetic point of view, it's absolutely amazing. Now, again, from a handling point of view, well, as you'd expect from a deck made by the US Playing Card Company, it's absolutely handles brilliantly. It's I won't do the flourishes the Thecardists can do, but it's a quite outstanding deck. The finish is just absolutely beautiful. It's smooth. It just fans so well. It's got amazing texture. It's I mean we use these in the shop to demonstrate with, and it's and they last a long time. Extremely hard wearing cards. And they're just a delight to use. Again, as I said, to keep saying, I think probably one of my favourite decks ever produced, and that is the Fulton's clip joint playing cards by the Dan and Dave Playing Card Company. Well, I think I probably talked too long, a bit longer than a standard cardist review. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, then that's the subscribe button. And if you'd like to see a little bit more of what Davenport's Magic sell, then simply go onto our website. It's davenportsmagic.co.uk. See you soon.
Bird machine. Check.